Welcome back, fellow spy fans. Tonight we're talking about the exciting conclusion of Night Manager episode 6. If you haven't heard our previous episodes, you might want to go back and check those out. If not, I'll give you a little a little quick recap. Our hero, Jonathan Pine, played by Tom Hiddleston, is a night manager at some really upscale hotel and comes across some really incriminating information about a international arms deal. And he's recruited by a British intelligence officer played by Olivia Colman to help take down the big arms dealer, Richard Roper, played by Hugh Laurie. Things were kind of closing in. They were out in the Haven, I think it was called, and that's when they meet with the buyer and give him a little taste of what the toys can do. And now we're back to Cairo, so kind of like a little callback to the first episode when we first met Pine, where are meeting to seal the deal with the Hamids for the arms purchases. Team Bad Guy back in London and in America have really, really, really beaten down Operation Limpet. So not only did the U.S. back out, so a lot of funding is gone, but the River House successfully has closed down Angela's operation. So she's basically, because as we found out last week, she got some bad intel on the deal that was going out in the desert over by the Haven, and the U.S. military was called out, which created a whole scene and made British intelligence look really, really bad. So that was their reasoning for shutting down the whole operation. But this kind of put Pine on his own. So that's kind of where we're starting. This episode kind of runs really quick because there's everybody kind of gets together to try and take down Roper, but there's a whole string of, what would you call it, events that needed to take place. Everybody gets to participate in this one.
There's a lot of moving parts, and it clicks along pretty well, I think.
A lot of it's kind of believable as far as what they needed to do, especially since coincidentally it was in Cairo. And, as we know, Pine at the beginning was a night manager and very well connected with kind of the working class over there. So he was able to kind of call in some favors from the locals.
Right. Well, our big cliffhanger from 5 was actually, I mean, it was very on the nose, like showing they're staying in the same suite,
right?
That Our Lady from episode 1 was murdered in by Freddie Hamid, and Freddie Hamid is also around.
So what were your thoughts on the whole Hamid sub story?
It's definitely not plot critical. I think Pine is a little incautious in the way he spends time in proximity to Freddie that seems like could have been avoided. But and when Freddie like asks him, and Freddie's kind of a mess. He's a Arab playboy, doing a lot of coke, probably drunk a lot of the time, and he barely met Pine in the first episode. So, I can believe it that he's just kind of like, do I know you? I think I could have played it a little better instead of just like flat denial of just playing a game of like, well, I don't know. I've been a lot of places. Have you ever been to blah blah blah? Or maybe we know each other from blah blah blah, and like throw out some smoke.
Right. I think he could have been like, well, I've been to these places, because Freddie's probably traveled himself. That's a good point. Maybe the drugging was a little over the top, but I guess it was kind of exciting, especially with the whole casino.
Sure. Well, I mean, I guess I'm okay with the decision of Pine to, I mean, for both plot and story reasons, to take Hamid out to spike his drink and which makes him more inebriated even than he was to start with. And he was already pretty fucked up. And then to need someone to, get him out of there, drive him home. It's pretty well played. I guess that's about all I got on Freddie.
No, yeah, that's pretty much all there is there. Just the quick drink, drugging, and then the murder to kind of get him out of the way.
I don't know where Pine got a hold of whatever he used to spike the drink with, but
Oh, that's true. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Was he just got like random drugs hanging out?
I don't know. But
Yeah,
as you say, other than the fraughtness of having, also like a lot of people in the staff could recognize him. I mean, that's kind of why it's a cliffhanger, because like his face is known here, and not just by Freddie. And I really did like the scene where he first walks into the hotel, and instead of kind of skulking around and like hiding his face or hiding behind a statue, like Jimmy Stewart in The Man Who Knew Too Much, he makes the right choice, which is just, dude, it's now or never. I'm gonna be recognized or I'm not. And you can see him like summon up his resolve, and he just steps like right out into the middle of the lobby and just waits for a second. Like, am I blown? Am I cool? Okay, I'm cool, at least for now.
Right. But given that, I guess the overall steps that they he's actually contacted by Stedman and Angela in Cairo, and he elicits their help as well. He's going to get Jed, and so the overall plan is to get some documentation from Roper to kind of get him into where the arms are being held, to kind of sabotage them, as well as kind of get Roper thrown under. But from the start of meeting with Stedman and Angela till actually taking Roper, there's a lot of close calls. But I kind of first wanted to talk about that first initial meeting in the lobby. Do you think it was a good idea to have Stedman? I got a message from London. Stedman's kind of a veteran. I would think he probably would have been known at this point. Maybe they should have sent like someone like a little bit lower on the food chain.
If they've got access to additional personnel, which they don't have the same kind of like numbers that they did before Limpet got disbanded. So it might be just a best of the possible options that they have. They can't use Angela in the lobby because she's been seen before. What was it? Probably in episode 2, at least by Frisky and Tabby, the security detail for Roper. And then calling back through to that and thinking about this, I was thinking, well, you know what? Maybe that first, like, kind of sort of a brush pass, kind of a neat take on a brush pass that they did at the ice cream stand. Maybe that's the inadvisable thing. Maybe like your direct handler shouldn't be the one sent out to try to make contacts with you in a public space. Except when, like, again, like it's like of last resort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. But they're not just there to make contact with Pine to kind of help him. At first, it's kind of Stedman interrogating him, because Stedman thinks he's actually working both sides. And Angela kind of agrees to have Stedman there to kind of question him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's good, because I wanted to talk about that, or at least put a pin in that, is something that I really liked about the series in general. But I think it was proper for me to wait until now to bring it up in the podcast. Is I actually like the fact that Burr and Pine have a level of separation from each other that makes her not entirely 100% sure that she can trust him or that he's
Uh-huh.
still playing ball, and that she's kind of got to go on faith. There's going to be a place where, especially after like Limpet gets broke down, like where she's completely finally about to say like, all right, I don't think I can trust this guy. And then he makes his phone call to her with the Sophie passcode and kind of wins her trust back over, at least for one last dance. But overall, it just seems to me like that's an element of good spy movies, where like sometimes your asset is out there in the field. You can't just necessarily have lunch with them every day and say, hi,
Right.
hey, what's going on? How's it going?
Yeah.
Although I did make the point that he should have been in communication more with her over Zitter Zatter. All he did was send that one document way back in episode 3 or something, but he could have been sending her fairly regular reports on what's going on. He hasn't done that.
And he still has the kid's phone, doesn't he? Was
I'm
that
sure,
ever addressed?
I'm sure he's got. Well, no, it was never resolved. At this point, he's got his own phone as well.
Right.
Like he's in the circle.
Uh-huh.
Even though they frequently and properly and cautiously like collect everyone's phones before they have really important meetings,
right,
and stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed the bit of doubt. It's not overplayed because it wouldn't make sense to overplay it on screen, because we know as the audience.
Right.
It's not like we're looking at the story just through Angela Burr's eyes. So to like spend too much time worrying about the idea that he might have gone native, I think is the expression, just would have been a waste of our time as an audience.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because it did kind of go quick, but at least it was addressed. The question was asked, and we got a little bit of an answer. But you're right to point out that it was in episode 5. She brought this up to Stedman before they met with him in Cairo. That well, first of all, I recruited him. Second of all, he's the one that called her with the Sophie password. So a lot of these are working in his favor. But again, he still could be playing both sides and might be leaking that he might be the leak that Burr and Stedman are working on, and that's why they're getting shut down. But I think his reason, what was like the answer that he had just killed Corky, that he had to kill the guy that was onto him in order to like kind of cover his ass, right? I think that's like the end reason that got him like across this stage.
Oh, as far as convincing her,
right,
I don't,
or at least Stedman.
I don't remember exactly. I just
Right.
know in the phone call, it was a very just an appeal to trust,
Right.
which was well made, well played, and fuck it, she's got no other choice.
Right. And this is kind of what sets off, I guess, the snowball leading up to taking out Roper. Angela and Stedman have no team, no funding, but they're physically there, and they're veteran intelligence agents, so they can do something. And I think his plan is to get Jed to get the combo to the hotel safe, so that Angela or Stedman can sneak in and get. It's like a document of ownership or something.
Yeah, it's certificate of sale. I had it here. Give me a second. It's owner registration certificate. Yeah. For Trade Pass Holdings. I mean, we get a glimpse at the document. It definitely says like where the weapons are coming from and where they're going. I didn't really see any other key information on this document. The document
that's what he shows to get onto the dock, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And
it's got several uses in this plot.
Right.
It's got multiple uses, which I like. But at its core, again, kind of like the documents that he sent to her through Zitterzatter from Roper's office. The the show is not super. It's not interested in being a procedural. It's not super interested in letting us know exactly what this document proves or doesn't prove.
Right.
We just kind of have to infer it based on the way that people react to it. And I felt like I spent enough time complaining about that
In the previous
yeah,
episode.
in the previous episode. So I'm not going to litigate it again. But it's there. But other than that, I do really like the unlike those documents previously, this document really has like numerous plot implications. This document is like a real character in this final episode.
Yeah.
It travels around.
Right. I really liked how Jed was able to get the combo for the safe. She basically asked Roper to put her earrings in the safe because she didn't trust anybody. Uh, and Roper makes some like super racist joke about Arabs being thieves or something. But what'd you think of that? I thought that was kind of cute. And she was like, "Oh, I'm worried about these earrings that I got today at the, when I went shopping. Can you put them in the safe?" And that's how she was going to see the combo number.
It's
I, I I thought that was clever.
it's very clever. It's maybe a little too clever the way she communicates the code to Pine with
Mhm.
by her bet at the roulette table, but I liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think it was Angela who argued that she should be the one to go. That she said being pregnant is the perfect cover. What do you, I'm not sure if she got caught in the room. I don't know how being pregnant is going to be a cover for her.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I don't. I don't think it would have made a difference if it was her or Stedman that went in, but well, she's the one that goes in and actually gets the document for Pine, and then Pine uses it to get on the docks through the guards, and he brings a couple of his worker buddies from the kitchen and his cousin or his friend or whatever. So like everybody gets to get involved in this one, and we'll find out later that he goes there to kind of sabotage the weapons. Um, uh, that's about
Right.
it
I
for
mean,
the document.
his plan.
Uh,
It's not explained to us in advance.
right.
It's not the way this show wants to do things, and so it's never clear to us like at what point he's making what decisions of how he's going to deal with the situation. But ultimately, the document's going to get into Angela's hands so that she can use that uh, through her associate in London to put Dromgool on the leash and
Mhm.
keep him out of it. Like
Right.
one use of the document, which makes very good sense to me. Again, I don't exactly know what the document proves or doesn't prove
Right.
about Dromgool's involvement. And also like, oh, let's go back to, at that first meeting when they're finally like, when they're putting Angela through the ringer, and she's basically like, well, her and her friend Harry are like the only two villagers in a room full of werewolves,
Right.
which gives her a great chance to when they're questioning her, is like, okay, listen, cut the shit. You all know why I can't tell you. you know,
Yeah.
you guys are all werewolves. Like this is a charade. Like let's not
Yeah.
fucking fuck around here. But
Right.
like her claim had been that based on Harry's information was that the certificates from the Ministry of Defense were being forged, but well, they've got real ones. Well, maybe they had time. Well, I don't know. That was a little hole in the ship for me.
Right.
That I don't know. Was Harry's information wrong? Is this not what Dromgool is involved in, or did they just I don't know, type up some papers and show her some fake papers showing that their fake papers weren't fake but it's still fake. I don't know. Why did I bring up the meeting? Because of this. Oh, right.
The document
Yeah.
is like somehow puts Drumgool in the hot seat, and I think it was one of Angela's like underlings like calls Drumgool and basically like threatens him. It's like, yo, you're not gonna answer any calls from Roper, and Drumgool's like, well, what do I get in return? He's like, you get to survive.
Right.
We're taking him down, and you're not gonna go down with him if you help us out.
Because Roper has multiple layers of protection. This is stripping one of them away from him.
Right. Absolutely.
But then back to Jonathan's plan. Jonathan's plan is to blow up steal the 300 million.
Yeah.
After so it's again, the whole arms deal is supposed to be 600 million. It's supposed to be half in advance, half after. So 300 million gets put in the trade pass account. Jonathan just like squirrels that away somewhere,
right?
Which felt a little weird.
That would ring some bells, don't you think? Right?
I would think.
Yeah. That would get the attention of some sort of. Well, they got the 300 million payment, and that was all at once. So maybe they have some sort of channel. But there's probably some black market digital channels to go through, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. That kind of was like, well, where? I thought he was doing it on purpose. When I was watching this, I thought he was sending it somewhere to trigger some alarms internationally so that people would show up. But that ended up not being the case. It just was gone.
Yeah, when I first watched the scene, I thought he was like authorizing the final sale or something. But it made more sense. It made more sense story-wise that he was like stealing the 300 million. But again, I think some bells should ring on that.
Right. Right.
But again, if you're doing super shady dark money shit, well, I don't know. I go back and forth. Like a fucking two players on a tennis court on this, on how realistic it is.
Right. Well, I guess let's talk about this from the other side, from Team Roper, because this builds up to the big climax where Roper ends up finding out that Pine is undercover. How he does that, Angela is kind of in the hotel, and I guess Stedman is like kind of a move of precaution, calls the hotel room just in case to kind of give her an out. Like, that was kind of cool because she didn't contact.
No, she texted him.
Oh, okay, good. That explains that.
Like, because she's in there, and it's Tabby, not or wait, Frisky Tabby. It's Tabby.
No. It's one of the buyers, isn't it?
No. It was Tabby. It was who has always been like the strong silent guy. Usually Frisky is getting all the lines between Frisky and Tabby, but in this episode, Tabby actually got to do some shit. No, it wasn't one of the buyers. Why would the buyers be up there?
I was actually like really weirded out about that because I thought he was one of the buyers, but if that was Tabby, then yeah.
Right. So, and she retreats to a closet, and we see her get her cell phone out, and she's like texting. So she texted that she needed a distraction.
And Stedman calls the room pretending to be the front desk and tells the guy, oh, we have a parcel waiting for you at the front desk. And when he goes, one, that gets the guy out of the room, which kind of saves Angela.
Good thinking on Stedman's part.
Really good, quick thinking, right? But because there's no parcel and the person at the front desk is like, what are you talking about? This obviously brings up some suspicion, and he takes it to Roper, and now kind of Roper's more on guard and paying attention to what's going on. And I thought that was a good inference that, like, the front desk called me about a parcel, and now I go to the front desk and there's no, not only is there no parcel, but the front desk is like, nobody called you. So that would set off some alarm bells, right? If I'm a bodyguard.
We're not doing top 3 best and worst tradecraft for these TV episodes. At least we don't currently have any plans like we do in the movies. This would have made my number one best tradecraft, just because it's something I feel like so many spy movies totally forget to do. Like, okay, I got distracted. Someone said there was a parcel. And then they would just forget about it. Just like any guy in a security room where they have all the cameras, like, oh, hey, that camera went out. That camera went black for 4 seconds. Must have been a glitch. No need to report it to my supervisor. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, hey, Harry, send a maintenance guy over to Sector 7.
Yeah.
The camera's on the fritz again. I was really like, I don't know, it just clicked and sparked with me that his first thing was like, go tell his boss, like, hey boss, I got a suspicion. It was just weird.
Yeah, they told me, and then there wasn't, and then they had no idea. Yeah, that's why I had to point this out. We don't really get that a lot, and I thought it was really cool that they added it into the story.
Yeah.
Just a little tidbit like this makes spy films so much better. You know,
I agree. Tabby on point, and Roper immediately, like, his ears are up. And he says, check out all the guests on the staff. Little minus spy points for let's check out the staff as well.
Yeah,
that's one of Roper. It doesn't prove to be his downfall in any way, but Roper's got a little bit of a blind spot when it comes to even considering that some of the help might exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's fine, because I think it really suits his character. You know, Absolutely. They're just invisible. They're little brown rats, like he says later.
Absolutely.
Like a douche.
And well, so Roper's decision, obviously at some point he goes to check the safe. There's no envelope. So somebody did something to take it, and he correctly figures out, well, they're probably going to try and return it. So let me change the safe password. And that's how Jed gets caught red-handed trying to return the certificate or the documents. And then he hands Jed over to Frisky, who's going to interrogate her to find out, and that's how they get Pine. And this leads Roper to take... Oh, I guess that was Tabby. That is Tabby. Okay, so Tabby and Roper and Pine go to like this random building, and I really wanted to point this out, because this is when Roper reveals to Pine that he figured him out, and he's going to pressure him. Look, we're going to get this deal done, or I'm going to kill Jed. So you better make sure all of this works out properly. Which, okay, fine. You're gonna threaten him with her life, and so he better play ball, or she's dead. But what really bothered me is Roper sends one guy. Pine's already demonstrated that he can kill, that he's a tough dude, that he can fight. He supposedly fought off 3 guys to protect his son, right? Pine's ex-military. He's like a bad guy. He killed some dude I forgot the name of the town, but there was that one town that, he was in. So he just had one guy, and it was Tabby, and he punches him in the gut and is holding him back. He's not even handcuffed or tied up. It's just one guy holding him down. I don't think one guy is going to hold down Pine.
Yeah, it's maybe a little incautious. It didn't flip my radar, but but you're right.
Yeah,
they could have some more people around.
Absolutely.
But also Roper likes to keep it tight. I mean, I think there's a reason. Like, he's just got this inner circle, and just 2 security guys. He doesn't run around like a lot of supervillains with a small military force.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, I guess there's his mercenaries at the Haven, but yeah, they're not like hanging out with him all the time. I guess he has a small...
But one of the guys from the Haven is here with the trucks. So yeah, he totally could have had a couple of mercs with him. But maybe if he hadn't foreseen that contingency, then they wouldn't have been in Cairo. He wouldn't have thought to say, like, hey, let's have another, but it would have been a good idea. Anytime you're doing any kind of this weird arms deal, like, these are dangerous people you're dealing with. Shit could go south. Just call your guys at the Haven and say, hey, just put a 6-man extraction team. I'm going to pay for their airfare and their hotel, and all they need to do is just like stick around for this week and just wait by the phone in case anything fucking crazy goes down, so that
Right.
you have access to that.
Which is like chump change, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
Him like $100,000,
and it's a good gig for
the
it's
whole
a good
week.
gig
Yeah.
for those guys. They
Right.
watch movies on demand and order room service, and probably nothing happens, and they go back to Syria, which I checked,
Right.
Or I didn't check. It just came up. It wasn't Iraq. It was Syria.
Oh, okay, good. Because I don't think they really like let us know like explicitly, and it might have been like one line that we missed. But yeah, thanks for catching that, because I was really annoyed that we didn't know where he was.
Yeah. Vague, unspecified war zone Arab countries are always going to kind of annoy me, unless it's a Mission Impossible or an Avengers movie.
Right. Well, after this, they go to do the deal, and when Pine is supposed to be using the phone to have his eye scanned to make the deal, he's actually dialing in a code to set off the explosives on the arms trucks and blows up all the trucks. And the Hamids are pissed. They want their money back, but the money's missing. And Roper, like, they threaten Roper, like, hey, you gotta get us our money now, or there's gonna be some consequences. Roper's like, don't threaten me. I'll get you the money when I'm good and ready. Which, this type of people are not the type of people you kind of talk shit to, especially in their home turf. You're in Cairo, right? So this is gonna bite him in the ass at the end. This is actually one of the other safety layers that, Team Good Guy peels off a Roper, which I thought was kind of cool, because I was super confused.
Right.
I was confused at the end who the big switch was at the end, and why the police were so like just irreverent of the Hamid name being dropped by Roper. But then I realized that's who swapped out the police cars at the end, was Hamid goons or something. Which I thought was kind of cool, because at first I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, I thought this was Pine's idea, and Angela is like freaking out, like, what's going on? And then but I guess it turns out the Hamids step in, take the police out of the cars, and now they got Roper as a prisoner because he fucked up the deal, which I thought was kind of a nice, like, tying up the bow ending.
Oh yeah. It totally was. But if you super think about it, if we already know the police are completely complicit with the Hamid family, like,
yeah.
It wasn't necessary for us to see that dramatic thing. Like, the police could have just, driven him to wherever.
Wherever. That's right. Yeah. Well, I guess it was for the audience.
It's still, it's a better way to quickly show what's going on visually. Show don't tell. And also, we gotta wrap this up, because there's a lot happening here. But again, back to this plan, like, I guess I just want to put a button on the whole thing of, like, in the end, because I've talked numerous times through the series, like, we're never enlightened on what the plan is. What is the end game, between Burr and Pine? And that means that Pine at the end just has to, like, completely improvise this kind of goofy, very dangerous plan of stealing the $300 million, arranging to have his
the weapons destroyed.
Right. And let's circle back in a second and talk about how he accomplishes that, because I think that's kind of cool. So, just steal the money, destroy the weapons, cut off Roper's, protection layers, and just leave him dangling on the hook, owing a bunch of dangerous people $300 million. And I guess too, like, they said, when they come in to arrest him too, like, they said, like, he's like, well, what are the charges? And they say, well, violation of Egyptian trade regulations for start, and conspiracy to commit murder. Where did the conspiracy to commit murder come from? I don't know. Maybe you're just a cop. You're just going to throw some fucking, some bullshit.
Well, no. He sent Frisky after Angela and Stedman. Remember, Frisky was going to come kill Angela. And Angela had to be the badass pregnant woman, which I loved, by the way.
Oh, yeah. No, but Frisky was just there to pull Jed out.
No, he was there to interrogate Jed, but remember, he gets a call from Roper, because remember, Roper finds, Tabby finds out, oh, by the way, this room was unaccounted for. So he calls Frisky to send Frisky to Angela's room, and that's when Angela gets the warning from Stedman, hey, you're blown, and so she gets ready. She has the gun that Stedman gave her, and she gets ready. So Frisky's there to kind of kill her.
Well, that's nice. It ties into what Roper told Tabby. Like his first reaction was check all the guests.
Yeah.
So yeah, I missed that, but yeah, that's hot. And
it was great. And by the way, when Frisky walks into the room, I don't see this shot like very well. And I'm not like a visual type guy usually, but I love like the way this was shot. Frisky went into the room and we get like a POV back and forth between Frisky looking at things and what he's looking at. And they have a camera angle looking at that mirror. Like in hotel rooms, there's usually a mirror on the side wall. He's using the mirror to see around the corner.
Oh, nice.
I really liked how this was shot.
I didn't catch that. That's very nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. Because if you're a good bodyguard or spy or whatever you are, you're going to use mirrors a lot. We learned this in the recruit too. Not the Spy Game, not Recruit. Sorry, we are going to do the Recruit eventually, but no, it was Spy Game when Robert Redford was using like the reflection of like whatever centerpiece was on the table. Mm-hmm. We actually got to see someone doing this in a real situation. The camera actually shot it versus like, doing like some really cool angle of stuff or whatever, and you got to figure out that's probably how he did it. The way the camera flipped back and forth between Frisky's face and what he's looking at, it was clear to me they were showing he's looking in that mirror to see around the corner to where the bed of the hotel is, and I was really happy to see that, by the way. So just to point that out and get my fanboy excitement out.
One other thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, and then I could go to some version of final review and ratings. Okay. But I'll double check with you if you got anything else. But my thing was like how Pine arranged the blowing up of the weapons.
Okay, let's circle back to that then.
Sure. We've talked about like all of the potential problems that could have arisen from this final episode coming back. And by the way, I do something about a symmetrical or something about a story that ends where it began is always kind of appealing to me.
Yeah.
Like location wise, there's something cool about that. Because the first episode set up some very unresolved issues with Pine, and it just seems very fitting that those issues get resolved in the same location. But there's some advantages too to him being on home turf, and one of those is Mr. Youssef down in the kitchen. Used to be, I thought he used to be a dishwasher. Now he's the head chef. And everything about Pine approaching him and their interaction, like I just really liked and made sense. The subtle shake of the head, like nope, you don't recognize me. And then loudly saying, I'm looking for someone named Youssef. Okay, oh, that's me. And they just do it nice, and then like they take a walk, and as soon as they're in the stairwell, they're just all hugs and fucking, how you been? Oh my god.
Yeah, I really liked that. That was really funny. Like how, and I liked how the coffee the kitchen guy was able to pick up on. Oh, don't say anything. You want to talk about like tortellini or whatever it was.
Right.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah. And then so who are these guys? These are the guys that okay. In episode 1, now this we got a little bit of mix of like actual history and fiction. The Hamid family is fictional. I'm morally certain, even though I didn't Google it or anything. But in the first episode, that was when I think in 2007, I believe, was when like the Arab Spring was going on, and everyone was super happy that this Egyptian dictator was finally overthrown. That excitement and happiness was unfortunately short-lived. They just, I mean, I don't know if you know, but they basically replaced, I mean, just another dictator just took over. So, and Yusuf and his family were like super excited about the revolution. So yeah, they've got some disgruntled. See, what I don't know how much time has passed since then. So I don't know if enough time has passed for that honeymoon phase of the Egyptian revolution to have like worn off, and for them to, the Egyptian people to be fucking disgruntled again. But I do know that it's 6 months past between within the first episode from Cairo to Switzerland. And after Angela recruits Pine, it's an undefined amount of time before he infiltrates Roper's team. That is never specified. So it could have been a year. It could have been 3 years. We don't know. So I guess that's probably enough time for the historical events to have caught up here, and for Pine to know that Yusuf has got, like brothers in arms who have access to and the motivation to go on some dangerous, fucking scary infiltrate and interrupt a weapons deal. I guess because, when he sent the code, all the drivers jumped out of the trucks and started running. I assume that's all of Yusuf's crew.
Right, yeah.
So they must have gotten in there and just like convinced the actual driver. I don't know, maybe they killed him and dragged him under a fucking cargo container.
Or they're probably hired locally, right?
Yeah, or they just went to him and said like, "Hey guys, like take a walk.
There are bombs about to go off. You better go.
This is for our country. All these, you guys don't know what's in these containers? Let me tell you what's in these containers. What's in these containers is weapons that are going to the dictator that we all hate. They're going to be used against our people, and you need to do the patriotic thing and get the fuck out of the way so we can rig them with explosives and stuff." So I just wanted to run through the various plausibilities of that part of it, because it's basically done off screen. We don't get the details, and that's really all the things that I had to talk about in detail about this show. I don't know if you got anything else. I could go for a kind of a rating and review kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that hits everything. It was a lot of fun to watch, everything kind of come into place and get a big conclusion, and him and Jed kind of have a little happily ever after, I guess, moment, and she gets to see her first son, so that was nice. But what kind of rating you want to? What did you think of the show overall?
I liked it. I mean, I definitely liked it. It's, even if you don't like spy stuff, the Elizabeth Bicchetti, the performances and the lavish, just the the look of the show, the feel of the show will win a lot of people over. I'm in the 4 zone for sure. I think I could just call it a 4 and call it good.
I'm with you on the 4. I think there's enough for me to kind of pick at once we kind of put this under the microscope. But regardless, I had a blast watching it, and it was a lot of fun. And there's enough, John Le Carre level tradecraft to kind of scratch that itch that I like to see in a spy series. So yeah, I think a 4 is a good number. So definitely go and out of your way to watch it. It's worth it. Do we want to do a park benches on this?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? I think there's a lot of realistic stuff, but then there's like when we put it on the microscope, we start seeing a lot of other stuff. So I don't know. Where do you want to start this at?
I'm at a 4. I'm at a 4 because just there's a lot that's really good. There's and it's not even the little things. It's not the little things that pull it down, because I think the show does the little things very, very well. It's just some of the big things that, like, hey, we're only doing 6 episodes. We don't have time to explain all of this. Like, my complaints about not understanding exactly what the papers mean at any given point, what the plan is, why Pine is, at a certain point in the story, why he is not communicating with Angela. He's got a phone, he's got zitters at her, fucking give her weekly updates, daily updates, kind of stuff like that. Yeah, super solid. Just
the one thing that really bothered me though was Roper constantly toots his own horn of like how he runs a tight ship, but we never actually see that. Like, a lot of the stuff Pine is able to accomplish is because of how much everybody fucks up, I don't know. I think I'm with you on a 4, mainly because it's Le Carre and there's so much good stuff on there, But it just bothers me, like how much like Team Bad Guy hands the good guys. But then a lot of the things on Team Bad Guy pretty much put Angela's like operation to on the hot plate. So I don't know. Ugh. Yeah, 4 sounds good. 4, because I'm looking at our other ones: Munich, Most Wanted Man, Departed. I don't know.
I feel it definitely can stand next to Munich, and for a lot of the same reasons. Details being good and just some gaps, which I don't mind. Like, I am not here to tell you that this would have been a better series if the park bench rating was higher. I don't think it would. I think the park bench rating is like perfect for what the story they're trying to tell is. There's some things, even though I'm quibbling about them, like, I'm not saying like adding those things in or changing things around would have made a better show. I'm just trying to be like objective and keep my appreciation of the show separate from the what I consider the accuracy. And I think a 4 is pretty respectable. You could make a 3.5 argument. We got Spy Game and The Good Shepherd down there. Like, it would feel comfortable down at a 3.5. But I don't know how much time I want to spend
debating. When I was looking at the 4s, we have. I think it definitely deserves to stick around with Munich. So, I think 4 sounds good to me.
Hey, real quick, great catch on the Le Carre cameo.
Oh yeah, that was so fun.
When I was looking through some Google shit, it looks like, dude, we missed. He's also got cameos in the two other Le Carre movies that we've covered, and we did not catch them.
Really?
Apparently, he's got a cameo in both The Most Wanted Man and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Did you jot down where they were?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I just know that I just saw that they were there. So something to I'll have my eyes on, because both of those movies are movies that I think I will be watching again someday. And when I do, I will be looking for Mr. JLC.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that's The Night Manager. Next week, what are we doing?
We're gonna
Condor.
We're gonna roll a movie again. It's a classic. Neither of us have seen it, but it's got a huge reputation as far as whatever, I think 70s spy movies, and one of Robert Redford's more classically remembered roles, 3 Days of the Condor.
I'm pretty excited for this one because I know how well acclaimed it is. So yeah, come and join us next time for 3 Days of the Condor, and make sure to follow or like us on Facebook or Twitter, and make sure to subscribe us on your favorite podcast app. Just search Spies Like Us Podcast, and see you next week.
The preceding transmission sampled the song Enter the Party by Kevin MacLeod, and sound effects from freesound.org. Attributions and links are found at spieslikeus.net.